Welcome to our free Friday training. I am David Hernandez, and I just want to really lay the foundation and the premise of what these Friday trainings are for. I believe that there is power in community, and I believe that in everything that I do, one of my core essences of why I do it is to really provide value, is to bring value to people. And it really stems from the core principle or the commitment that I made 16 years ago, right? When I lost my childhood best friend at the age of 21 to obesity, struggled with obesity his whole life. And, at 21, he became so desperate to get the weight off that he went to get a gastric bypass surgery. 2 days later, he got an infection and he passed away. After 8 months of feeling shame, guilty, why didn't I do more? I realized there was really not much more I could have done, but I did make a commitment at that point, that if I knew of anyone or if I can support somebody, I wanted to do it to ensure that they did not go through what my best friend went through. And this is why we're doing our free Friday trainings. It's literally set to bring value to your life, to just bring information, principles, tips, knowledge that I've gained through my 16 years of being in the industry to help you live a lifestyle of freedom. Health is our responsibility. And if I can support you, if I can serve you, and if I can bring insight to you that will help you achieve that for yourself, it's gonna make me a better person as a as a consequence of that, right? And I'm not doing this for self-ego reasons. I'm not doing this for my own satisfaction. It's really, how can I serve you? How can I support you? So I decided every week on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard, and 10 a.m. Central Standard Time for us to connect. It'll be for 1 hour. First 30 minutes is going to be a teaching session. I'm going to bring some insights. I'm going to bring some a specific topic that we're going to talk about, so to speak. And then the last 30 minutes is going to be to answer questions, right? So feel free to send me your questions. You have opportunity to send that. You can send them throughout the entire week. You can email them to me at to the email, david@davidhernandez.co. david@davidhernandez.co. You can also send them to me through Facebook, through all the social media platforms. I don't know where you're following me from, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you're coming from. Send me those questions and we'll get those answered in the second half of our program. So today, health. What is it? What is it for you? We all know of that topic, right? We hear it constantly. And my focus in what I am now shifting my coaching to be like is to really change the thought or the idea of what health is or what healthy life should be. We hear it. It should be a part of your lifestyle. Let's change your lifestyle. Let's do this to impact your lifestyle. And that's great. It's become a term that is now widely heard, but it's really a term that I adopted many years ago when it really wasn't being spoken about as loud as it is today. And we hear health has got to be a lifestyle. It's got to be a lifestyle change. It's got to be this, right? But really, how do we achieve that? What does that look like for everyone? Because the truth is, we're all different, right? We have different thoughts, different understandings, different habits, different choices, different lives. So, how can we make this universal for everyone's life? And it really now comes down to, well, what is our perspective of health? What is my understanding of health? And I believe it's got to be very clear for each one of us, because if we can get clear with this idea of health, which is more than just an idea, it's our responsibility, because I believe health is bigger than us, because it impacts everything that we do. Our health impacts everything about us. It impacts our relationships. It impacts how we respond to people. It impacts our energy. It impacts the way we think. It impacts how we speak. It impacts how personable we are. It impacts our performance and ultimately should even impacts how much money we can make, right? So our health is unique in the sense that it's going to be unique for each one of us. It's going to be different. But now I want to introduce a different perspective because I believe that even though we have the understanding, meaning the word health, it may not be clear to us, but also I believe that there's got to be some type of change in how we view health. Meaning health has to become a part of our life. It has to be our life, in other words. Not a part of it. When I say a part of it, I mean it's got to be pieced as a part of you in your life, but it really has to be the foundation of how we live. Meaning now health is a makeup of who I am. It's part of my essence. It's part of my DNA. It's part of what I do. It's part of how I live. It's part of how I raise my kids. It's part of my business. It's part of how I choose and make the choices in life. That is very different than, okay, you just got to make it a part of your lifestyle, or you got to simply follow a program, which many people that I speak to are trapped in. They believe that because they're following a exercise program, a nutrition program, that now they're living healthy. Now, that might be the case for some, right? But the truth behind this, in my belief, is that if we're simply living a program like life, or we're living simply following programs, well, the possibilities of us maybe losing interest can be higher. The possibilities of us maybe not sticking to it can become higher. The possibilities of us no longer pursuing it can become higher. Why? Because we can become bored of the program. We could become tired of the program. We could become tired of the nutrition foods that we're eating based on the program, right? Which is why if we can understand the principles on how to live a healthy life and make health a part of your life, the chances of you giving that up or quitting or losing interest are significantly lower. Why? Because again, now it becomes a part of who you are. When I look at my life and I look back and say, and as I ask myself these questions, right? How is it that I've been able to sustain my life for so many years, healthy, fit, and capable to live the life that I want physically and energy wise and mentally and emotionally? If we look at, let's say I could control my choices when I was maybe 8 years old. Let's just give it a number, right? And we look at I'm 36 now. How can I, in those amount of years, still continue to live the life that I have, healthy, having health as my life? It's really because from that young age, I introduced foundations and principles that allowed me to live that way from that age, which now, because it's a part of who I was that I crafted then, and I've continued to make that choice of living that way. Note the word continued. I look back now 36, I'm still able to do that. But I didn't follow a program. Did I introduce certain exercise regimens and certain exercise techniques and like learn different workouts and things like that that may be encumbrance in like a program? Absolutely. But it was far more important for me. It was far bigger for me. meaning I adopted it as my life. That is the way I lived. That is the way I chose to live my life. And every choice was surrounded around that style of life. So if we can now change our perspective today and say, okay, yeah, cool. I have been simply following an exercise program. I have been simply following a nutrition program. Okay, so now what do I do? It's three S's that I want to introduce to you today of how we can achieve that. The first S is it, and they all mean something, right? The first S is simple. We've got to simplify what health is. Simplify the concept of health. It's got to be simple. So therefore, the question here is, how can I make health simple for me? And in that simple is also another friend, which is fun. How can I make health simple and fun? Because if I can simplify it, it's going to be far easier for me to do it. It's going to be far easier for me to stay committed to it. And now that simplifying is going to look different for everyone, right? And we're going to continue to talk more about this in the next Fridays coming up to give more specific examples of what that might be like. But today I want to introduce this concept so that you all can chew on it throughout the week. And we can come back next week and really continue to break this down because I really want to drive this home. Let's keep it simple. What can you do today that is simple? Maybe that might be walking. Great. I hate walking though. Okay. How can we make walking fun? What can I do for it to become fun? Can I walk with a partner? Can I listen to some music? Can I maybe skip? Can I maybe put on a really good video that I can see while walking on maybe the treadmill, if that's what you want to walk on, right? I had a recent student that was talking and he was saying that he would go at a specific time to the gym because they had cops on the TV. And he loved that show and it helped him do what he hated, which was walking on a treadmill. So he would walk on that treadmill and he would watch cops. Most gyms nowadays have it. Okay, well, I don't have a gym. Okay, well, can we do it on our phone, right? Can we do it in front of a TV and I maybe walk in place, right? Oh, but that's too simple. That's not going to do anything to me. I'm not going to lose weight. It's not about that. It's we're introducing how to now make health part of your life because I guarantee you that if we can continue to make these simple, small introductions to our life and we can adopt them as a part of our life, whatever we desire, whether it's to release weight, whether it's to build muscle, whether it's to become more active, whether it's to have more energy, whether it's to be able to go upstairs without being winded, whether it's maybe to go hiking, whether it's to play with your kids, whatever it is, it's going to become achievable. And we're going to achieve it because now health is a part of our life. Number two, smart. How can I be smart about what I'm doing? Meaning, what do I do in my life, right? Because if my life is not aligned to health, if what I'm doing today doesn't align to my lifestyle, well, it's not a smart choice because at some point I'm going to eventually just give it up and fail or quit on it, right? So, we've got to be smart about what we're doing. If we're overweight and we're jumping as a form of exercise, that's not a really smart thing to do. We're going to more likely hurt our tendons, hurt our tissues because it's a lot of weight being supported by our joints, by our muscles. We can injure ourselves. But yet I go to the gym and I see people that are wanting to release weight setting up these platforms on these machine pieces, and they're trying to do box jumps. They're trying to jump on it. Why? That's not a smart thing to do. When we exercise, we got to be smart about what we're doing, right? We got to be smart about the choices that we're making. We got to be smart about the way we are choosing to take on health. And we'll break down more examples about that as well in the next coming weeks. And then third, it's got to be sustainable. What we're doing today has to be sustainable for us to ensure that this life of health becomes long-term, right? Becomes a lifetime for us. So these are things that I want to introduce to you because I want to start impacting and getting away from this idea that I'm going to be following a program or living a program-like life or living dependent on a program, but yet now start teaching you screw the program, right? Screw that program mentality. And now let's make health a part of our life. And the core of what I want to start teaching you is how to be able to do that. Okay. And that's going to encompass everything, right? Because in these Fridays, we're going to be talking about all types of things: the mindset piece, the emotional piece, the behavior pattern piece, right? The exercise piece, the nutrition piece. And really, it's about giving you different ideas to help you live that life. Awesome. So if you're watching today and you might have a question, go ahead and drop it in the comment section right now. We'll go through a couple of questions. We got a couple of minutes. I did go over a few minutes today, but we'll take the next 24 minutes or so to answer a few questions if you have them. So feel free to go ahead and drop them in the chat there, and I will have a look at them. I have a couple of questions here that I will be answering as well that were sent in. But if you have any specific question, go ahead and drop it in the comment section, and we'll give you all that are on today's Friday training priority. And then if not, we'll go to some of the questions that were sent in via our social media platforms. In the meantime, while you all send those in, if you have any, first question here is, why is it that I can't stick to living healthy long term? That was one of the questions that was sent in. She kind of, this person explained it that like she tries, she sticks to it for a couple months, but then she falls off and she gets distracted by other things and she just really can't commit to it. So let's break that question in. And I see another question coming in. We'll come back to that question here in a moment. There's two things that I believe make it challenging for a person to stick to a health journey or to a life of health, right? One, value or meaning. The value that we've put on health may not be great enough, as great. It might not be great. It might not be of a great value that is greater than other things that you might be doing in life. Because let's look at, for example, why is it that somebody can give it all and stick to a business, right? Or to working or to their job? They're willing to work long hours. It doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter how long I have to work. I'm willing to do it. But yet we ask them, well, why don't you go walking for 10 minutes? Why don't you go do something active for 30 minutes? Why don't you make some healthy food, prep some food, do this? Oh, I just can't. I don't have time. Which what that shows me is that the value that this person has put on his work, because he understands what that means for him, is far greater than the value he's put on health. So oftentimes when we get distracted because we say, oh, but I just have a lot of work, that means that you are valuing work more than you're valuing health or the value that you've given your health. That's one piece. The second piece is maybe you don't value yourself enough to take care of yourself, which again means that you're putting value in other things And that might be, I value hurting myself more, which it can be crazy for some of you to think about that in that way, but oftentimes that might be it. And why is that the case? Because maybe they've been defeated in life. Maybe life hasn't been so kind to them. Maybe they've been through life experiences that have caused emotional pain, right? That have hurt them. So therefore, they feel they are not worthy enough. They don't have enough value to become better, to look better, to live better. So then screw it. If everybody else around me in life has hated me, which again is really a thinking trap, right? Because we're basing our current life on past experiences. Everyone around me, I'm just not wanted, I'm just not appreciated. Then I come back and I say, is that really the case? Is that really true? How are you so sure of that? Show me the specific data, right? And oftentimes we don't. We're just really living based on past experiences. And therefore, it takes us to a place that we do not value ourselves. So the meaning and the value piece may not be great enough. And then secondly, we may be overcomplicating things, which is why sometimes we may not stick to something. We're overwhelmed. It's too, oh my gosh, how do I do this? I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. You're telling me to do what? So now it's just overwhelming. It's too complicated. So therefore, anything or most things that are overwhelming or too complicated, we either push them aside, right? Or we tend to just give up on them, not continue with them, not follow through with them, right? So these are the two things that I believe might be affecting many people. And to continue to answer this question, the next piece then is we've got to look at and really ask ourselves that question, right? What value or what meaning am I giving to health? Do I need to maybe address that? Do I need to change that? Do I need to give it more value? Do I need to give it a deeper meaning for me? And then secondly is back to my first S, right? How can I simplify what I'm doing to live healthy? Okay. Hope that answers that question. Next question we've got that was sent in. Let's look at it here. Sent in by one of our viewers today. How do I maintain consistency when what I'm doing isn't giving me the results I'm seeking? That's a great question. Consistency comes from the repetition of something that we're doing, right? So we have to look at, do I like what I'm doing? Because if we're not being consistent with something, oftentimes maybe we don't fully like it. It's not bringing us joy. It's not bringing us excitement. It's not getting me fired up to do it. Now, there might be certain circumstances that maybe things that we need to do might not be exciting. Well, then I come back and I ask and I challenge that question and say, well, how can I make it exciting? Right? How can we make it joyful? So if whatever we're doing today, we're not able to stay consistent with it, we want to reevaluate and look at, is what I'm doing bringing me joy, bringing me excitement? Is that spark still there from when it was originally? Well, we might look at, well, I'm losing the spark because I'm not seeing results. Okay, the results will come from making things that we're doing exciting, because then that's going to change my perspective, how I view it, the effort that I put into it, right? It's going to change my energy around it, which then is going to change the way I feel. Because right now, what we're doing is we may not feel happy with what we're doing. So therefore, the feelings are going to react to how I feel is going to result in a action. So if I'm not happy with it, my action might not be the best action I can take, right? So we want to relook at what we're doing and look at, is this what I want to do? Is this something that brings me excitement? Is this something that brings me joy? Am I fired up about it? because that is going to change how we feel about it, which then is going to change how I respond to it. And I think there was a addition to this. If I'm getting results and consistency is effortless, yes. But again, how I feel about something is going to determine what action I take. So even if today I'm not seeing results, but if I can change how I feel about something, meaning health, meaning I'm excited about doing it, meaning I have a different feeling, a different thought about it is going to come from it. Meaning if let's say I want to get these results right now, right? I want to release 10 pounds. I want to release 15 pounds. Well, then if I can get myself to envision myself and change my feeling about how that would feel like, if I can change my feelings, it's going to change how I think about what I'm doing, right? Which then is going to change my action when I do it. Therefore, I'm going to be able to develop consistency. Now, we might say, well, I don't care about being happy. I don't care about joyfulness. It's not about how I care, if I care about it or not. It's just understanding that our emotions impact our psychology. They impact the way we think about things, which then result in how we do things. So if we can change our state, meaning I can change my emotional state about anything that I'm doing, it's going to change my psychological understanding of it, the way I'm thinking about it, the way I think about it, the way I view it. Therefore, then it's going to produce a different action. It's going to give me a different frequency of action, right? In how I'm doing something or set thing, which is why when we're talking about, let's say, relationships, right? If in that relationship, in a marriage or in any type of relationship, a partnership, if we're not doing something about making sure that that spark, that joy, that excitement is there, you're going to seem like you're living with a roommate at some point. The actions, the way you treat the other person is going to be low. How you respond or how you treat the other person might not be the best way. The attention is gone. The care, the interest is gone. And therefore, now we simply just are existing. That is why in this process, we've got to find ways, how can I increase my state, the way I feel about what it is I'm doing, to find joy, to find excitement, to find the inner spark, to find the motivation, to find the happiness, to find this, oh my gosh, yes, feel it, I want it. Then it's going to change the way I think about it. Because if I'm always like, okay, well, yeah, my state might not be at its highest peak. Therefore, I'm going to be maybe thinking about doubts, thinking about, is it working? Is it not? Yeah, it's probably not. I'm going to be focused more on the things that aren't working. I'm going to be focused more on the negative things about it. Therefore, when I go and I do these things, then I'm going to be able to get it. Results do bring happiness, but to get to the results, we've got to change our state so that we can be able to get to the result, right? The way I do it to be able to get it. If I want to have $1 million company, but every time I try to find clients to get on a call, I'm not necessarily motivated. I'm not excited about it. It's coming through the other call that it's not working. Therefore, it's going to limit the results that I'm able to get. Therefore, it's not going to allow me to get to that $1 million mark, right? So it's not focusing on how do I get to the result. It's how can I change me? How can I change what I'm doing right now, even if what I'm doing might seem that it's not giving me the results? But if I can change the way I feel about what I'm doing, if I can change the way I'm thinking, changing the way I think about it, if I can change the way I do what I'm doing, then we can start to change the results that we're getting today. And then if what I'm doing is really not working, then we've got to look at, okay, what else can I do that excites me to change what I'm doing that can possibly give me a chance to get to the result again? And I know this can be a bit of a struggle, but if we can simply calm the noise down of our head sometimes and listen to the conversation that we're having here, of really looking at, okay, let me change the way I feel about this. Let me change the way I'm thinking about this. Let me get excited about this again. Let me get excited about this life that I'm crafting, this process that I'm in, this journey that I'm on. What can I do to change my state of how I feel about this? Maybe give different meaning, maybe change the meaning, maybe adapt the meaning, maybe increase the meaning, maybe just look for ways on how can I change the way I feel about this? The way we feel is going to impact how we think. The way we think is going to impact our actions. Say that again. The way I feel impacts how I think. What I think is going to determine what action I take. If I feel defeated, I'm going to think, well, why the heck do it? Therefore, even though I have to do it, I'm going to do it just barely or half-assing it. Or I might do it with everything, but because I think I'm doubting, because I feel defeated, it's not going to give me any result. So hope that is helpful. If you have any additional questions on that, go ahead and just email those questions to me at david@davidhernandez.co, david@davidhernandez.co, and hopefully we can continue to provide some answers to that. Okay, very cool. So we're coming down to the last 9 minutes of today's Free Friday training. And really, I want to just encourage you. Nothing is ever just figured out. Look, I've been doing this my entire life, and I'm still figuring out new things. I don't do today what I did even a year ago, even 6 months ago. There's always things that I am changing so that I can ultimately hope to get to the life that I desire. Even in business, changed everything than what I'm doing, to change the state of how I'm feeling, to change the way I'm thinking about how to help more people, which in essence is now giving me a different action. Hence the birth of these Free Friday trainings, right? So nothing is ever, okay, just give me the secret sauce so that I can do it and it can give me the results always. That's not how things work. There is no secret sauce, because we as humans and life itself is so profound. It's so complex. That's the word. That there's never, ever one way of doing things. Which is why I encourage, we've got to become very curious, childlike as adults, and really come back to, how can I change the way I feel about me, about life? Man, I'm really living a struggled life. Finances are this, they're at their all-time low. I'm having to maybe rely on people to support me. I hate the way that feels. You don't understand, David, what I'm going through. You don't understand how I'm living. You don't understand the past that I've had. You don't understand. Yeah, I may not understand it. However, if I can change the way I feel about this situation, if I can change the meaning that I've given past experiences today, if I can change the way I have been feeling about these experiences, about certain people, about certain things, it's going to impact the way I think about them, which is then going to give me a different view that I've been having on a certain thing, which is going to produce a different type of action when, as a result of that, we're going to get some type of different result. But it really starts from us knowing that I've got what I need inside to be able to have the life that I want, to be able to have anything that I desire. Well, really got to get clear on what that want is, right? I have to look at what meaning have I been giving past experiences, because past experiences today are what's driving me to what I'm doing today. Had I not changed or given the meaning that I gave to my best friend's death, I wouldn't be here today with you. Had I not changed the meaning of me being on a deathbed and nearly dying and wanting to die, change that meaning, which is going to change the way I feel about this experience, which today I now say is the best thing that could have happened to me. And I have it on my website. You can go read about that in the blog there. Literally the best thing that could have happened to me. But David, you're not as big as you were before. You'll never be able to work out that same way. You're never going to be able to achieve your goal of bodybuilding like you wanted to. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. Yeah, okay, cool. But it doesn't mean I have to live because of it. Doesn't mean I have to be defeated by it. Doesn't mean I have to be it's not going to dictate who I am. I changed the meaning of what that was for me in that moment to what it is now for me. And now it's enabled me to do much more, to learn more about the body, to learn more about how to bounce back from situations of defeat, to how to now craft, to have more value and appreciation of life, to be able to experience more, and ultimately be able to help more people through this journey. So you have everything that you need inside. I am able. I am. Let's change our state, how we view and how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about what we're doing. Let's get excited about it again. Let's get ignited. Let's reevaluate what our driving force is in, what the driving force is for us. And we stay at that, and it's going to start to change the way we think, the way we view, the way we process that, which will then change our action that we're doing. Thank you so much for joining us today on our Free Friday training. Remember, every week we're here. If you want to register, look, share this with somebody. Share the link so that other people can register. I want you to know that you are a part of my community, and I am here to support you. Any questions that you might have, anything that you might be processing or you might even think of throughout the week and you want to discuss about it, look, shoot me an email. Let's chat about it. David at davidhernandez.co.co. David at davidhernandez.co. Let's connect. If you're not following me on social media, if we're not friends or followers, look, let's connect. You can find me on all social media platforms at Dave K. Hernandez, at Dave K. Hernandez. And also know that I'm here to support you. As I close, remember, you are incredible. Go out, crush it, and live your best life. I'll see you next week. Take care. Peace.